So your frequency is your mating call. This is funny because the video that I just did that I didn't really like how it turned out, I kind of incorporated that a little bit. So it's interesting that because I randomly picked a topic. So it kind of aligns with, that's funny, kind of aligns with what I'm about to talk about. So your frequency is your mating call. So when I say this, I mean it like, I don't know what platform I was on. I think it was on TikTok, but I made a video about how victims attract narcissists. And I see a lot of times how people talk about, like, oh my God, he did this to me, he did that to me, she did this to me, she did that to me. But no one can do anything to you unless you allow them to. And upon allowing them to do it, how did they get there in the first place? How did they find you? They found you because you matched energetically at some point in time. How or why you, your sweet self, matched energetically at that point in time is simple. You fell. Your frequency fell. So, in your frequency falling, at some point in time, let's just say at this point in time, this is you, your frequency was up here. Something happened, maybe someone passed away, maybe you lost a lot of money, I don't know. Your frequency fell. Boo, 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 boo. Now, your frequency's here. See that? That's where your frequency's at now. It's super low. Imagine it like a battery, right? Your battery charge or lack thereof is your frequency strength or lack thereof. So you have a weak frequency right now. You're weak right now. You're not a victim yet, though. You're just weak. Over here, we have a narcissist. A narcissist is also weak. A narcissist is already a victim, and they already come weak. So, this is a narcissist. Let me describe a narcissist villain origin story really quick. So, a narcissist, whereas you had a bad situation and it just fell. Let me use colors because this is kind of how I explained it before. It's so funny how everything kind of plays into each other. It's so interesting. But yeah, so this blue marker is the experience that dropped your frequency, that you allowed to drop your frequency. Someone died. Death. Let's just say death. Okay. On this note, this narc was created a very long time ago. Yeah, a very long time ago. I'm gonna just put it like that because you can tell when somebody is a fresh narcissist versus when they've been doing it a very long time. So this narc had things happen to him. This is them now. They had things happen to them here when their frequency was decent that dropped it. And this is their experiences. Let's just put a squiggle. We just know that these are experiences instead of allowing the experience to just be, whereas you would have shifted back up, bounced back up, doing something other than meeting this. And what this, and what this person is doing, their frequency fell. And not only did their frequency fall, but their frequency fell, and all of the negative shit that they experienced fell in them too. So now they have this little bit of normalcy left so they can blend in their mask. And then now they're filled with all the hate and that made their frequency fall. Everyone's frequency falls, by the way. Some people just control it. Some people don't. In this case, neither one of them can, at least at any efficient rate, right? So how did you, your sweet self, with terrible energy or vibration, meet this person who's full of hate, full of envy, full of whatever bad experience that they went through? How did y'all resonate? This is how y'all met at some point in time. Y'all needed gas at the same time, so y'all ended up at the gas station. Y'all gravitated towards each other because of this right here. This is energy that aligned with yours, right? So are compatible. You get there at the gas station, you got your little 20% going on. You're still figuring it out. This is empty, but this is just 20. It's not much. You're moping. You're, oh, woe is me. God. Death. I lost something. Boo hoo. You're just pumping gas though, because you still gotta live, right? Then the narc comes along and they're giving gas too, because the narc still gotta live. And he sees you, he feels you, he relates to the naked eye, but you don't realize because you don't align. You don't have any of this negative shit in you. You just you created space for it though, right? For anything to just come and fill that void, that space. But this person has this. Are we following? Okay. The reason why I say your frequency is your mating call is because remember, well, I don't know if I'm gonna post that video, but in the video that I just did that I didn't necessarily like, this is the vibe. This is the frequency that's being given off, right? When technically this is the frequency, or if they were higher vibrational, it would be a bigger field. It would be a bigger field, but regardless, you can still attract even with a low battery, right? You're gonna still use your phone even if it's on 1%, right? Okay. And this is their field, and not only do they have an interesting field because it's mostly corrupted, right? Except this is where you're being pulled in. And I think it's so funny in this example because I see this happen so much. When people are like, I'm doing it for the plot. And then they get, their whole life is ruined at 21 because you did it for the plot, because you went and you were drawn in at your lowest by your lower half. So you just double down on loneliness. I don't know. I mean, whatever, right? But how did they end up? How are you weak? Or how are you a victim? You were weak. You got with an arc. You gave them the time of day, and they swept you off your feet because you're not grounded. You're light as a feather. There's no weight in here. There's nothing holding you down. You're just woe and moping and they have weight and they're grounded, but it's grounded with hate, envy, negativity, and of course a little bit of sanity, just a little bit, just enough to pull people like you in. You get closer and closer and closer, and when they get close enough, they trickle all that energy and they pour it into you. This is when he's coming in you, when he's yelling at you, or when he slaps you, or when he cheats on you. Or actually, let's not get into the cheating yet, because, and also this can happen in work. This can happen with people, places, and things. But we're using people because, yeah, more relatable. So when he starts pouring all that, dumping in you, basically, you start to feel a little weird. This is new. This is different. Remember, you grew up a decent life. You just happen to lose something or have an experience, in this case, which was death. That kind of dropped your frequency, but you weren't grounded. You didn't know how to ground, so you kind of floated it right into a narcissist, right? So now you're this person that is experiencing on top of a low vibration, trying to work yourself back up, but now you've been dumped in. So now you go and you try to dispel this energy. You're going this way, to a corner, to your car, I don't know, to a friend, to the internet, to the phone, whatever you're doing though, you are trying to clean yourself. But at the same time, you're not realizing you're trying to clean yourself of something that they gave you, which is like a disease, honestly. It's an illness. They shifted it off into you. And look at that. What if that was, let's say that was 50%, right? They just gave you 30%. They just dumped 30% in you. So now you have 30% bullshit, negativity, anger, toxicity, and they have 10%. Or, I'm sorry, 20%. And honestly, in the exchange, let me go back and redo this because, well, no, some of y'all be keeping y'all little backbone up until you don't. So I'm gonna leave you with your backbone, little backbone you have left. Some of it, because he took some of it. He did take some of it. So that went down, and this went up. Hmm, how does that work? He just dumped his energy into you, took some of yours. Now you're going and trying to figure, you're cleaning, you're trying to figure out why am I feeling like this? Oh my God, like an allergic reaction, right? Oh my, think back to when you first met that narcissist. Which, by the way, everyone can be a narcissist and everyone can be the person on the other end. Either being either one is what's the point? But whatever, right? So yeah, while you're going and crying and talking about it and doing anything but getting rid of this, dumping it back on them or rejecting it, you internalized it. You took the blame. You took ownership. You did blase blase accountability for whatever the fuck they had going on. Because you know this happens really early and it can be a number of things, right? So now you're trying to dispel all that on top of grieve your person's death, on top of raise your vibration. Now you're dumping or you've been dumped in, and this is all within a probably 2 weeks span, maybe a month of this person passing away. Okay, so okay, um, bet so this is where the spiraling and the cheating comes in, right? I think I am gonna have to just post the other video because it does tie into this example a lot, but this is where the chase attract aspect comes in. That I don't want. Now he's disgusted with you. Okay, he knows all the bullshit that he internalized and experienced and went through, and he also knows what he dumped in you, and you accepted it. Oh, he's disgusted with you. Not even necessarily disgusted, but y'all don't resonate anymore. He doesn't resonate with you. You're weaker than him. You're literally weaker than him. And now you're a victim because now you are a weaker victim or stronger, or however you want to put it. You're a better victim than him or more of a victim than him. He doesn't even recognize you. He's disgusted with you. He can't use you. You know how I'll be in them comments on the when they be talking about their experiences with narcissism, and you know how people are like, what do they call it? A supply. Yeah, a supply. So you're not even a source of supply. You're like a dead vape. You're a dead phone. He don't want you. He wants a new one. Move along. Well, now what he's gonna do? He's gonna use that energy that you gave him, that he tricked you out your position and stole from you and snatched from you. Really, you gave it to him. You didn't steal it. You gave it to him. What your weak at? I'm kidding. You gave it to him, and now he's gonna go stunt and use that energy to go attract a more high vibrational girl. Now, I'm not saying that this more high vibrational girl is better, smarter, prettier, whatever the case may be. No, she just has 30. So let's go this way. Instead of going towards you, he's gonna go the opposite direction, so he can go find a vibratory match. He finds a vibratory match, and for whatever reason, her vibe's low. We all our vibes go up and down. Let's just say she got drunk and she got alcohol poisoning. Okay, she descended, got alcohol poisoning. The next day, she went to the grocery store. Here she is at the grocery store with her 30%. But she fell, remember? She's sluggish. She's dragging her feet. She's just walking through the store. Oh my God. But I need to get my I don't know what remedy do people use whenever they get too drunk, whatever it is. She needs some soup. She needs avocados. She needs rice. I don't know. She needs more alcohol. I don't know. But she's at the store, and so is this mother effer because he's tired of hearing you cry at home. So he left, and he's like, ugh, I just dumped all that in her. Now she can't handle it. Now she's weaker. Ugh, I need to find something else. She's disgusting. He goes and finds with his 30%, and he goes and tries to get this girl, but she's not. Oh, I forgot to add his 20%. I forgot to add also. I don't want to confuse y'all, but just assume like this is kind of why I wrote this. I did this at the top is because this is like the mind's eye, right? This is the more your vibe is up, this color, the vibe is up, the easier it is to see. It's like glasses. Your vibration is like glasses. It's like your mating call. It can be a number of things. But yeah, so mind's eye, mind's eye, mind's eye, mind's eye, mind's eye, mind's eye, mind's eye. So yeah. Um, and in her case, they don't even believe in the mind's eye, but whatever. Um, she can smell him and smell that he's off, some off. She might not be at her best, but she also knows how to ground. She's still grounded. She's just not as grounded as she typically is. But she's also more grounded than you were or have ever been, right? And she knows that, okay, she has self awareness. Okay, my vibe is down right now. I'm probably gonna be bringing in some bullshit, but I'm not gonna attach to it. I'm gonna wait to really truly interact and um, then see what I align or what I bring in or what I manifest. Because anything you're manifesting out of low vibratory, lowly energy is just not it. We're always manifesting. We're always attracting. So that's not to be confused. Not everything is like they say. Not all money is not good money. So she sees him and she's like, oh my God, ew, no, like something's off. That's discernment, that's intuition, that's something that you did not tap into because you weren't grounded. This victim, this is when you got turned into a Vic. You was weak, but you only became weak because you've been strong. So you got to remember, if you've been strong, you can always be strong again. But instead of remembering you could be strong again, you decided to go be weak with another weak person. Sorry. And that's when that weak person made you a victim. And now or helped you become a victim. Now you're a victim. In this case, this lady is not a victim, or this person's not a victim because they're not going and subjecting themselves to BS. They're not subjecting themselves to the lowly. They recognize it for what it is. She knows I'm probably vibing with him right now because of the things that I decided to do a few days ago, but it's not going to be like this for very long. So therefore, I'm going to go back to where I came from and get what I need because don't let them run you up out the spot. Energy can go anywhere. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I'm going to go ground. So that means she's going to go back home with her soup, with her maybe a good book, maybe a podcast, maybe handle some of the business she needs to handle. But whatever the case may be, she basically needs to go recharge. So she's not worried about going and hopping in bed. She's not worried about going to make friends. She's not worried about being nice to somebody. No, he approached her. She said, I'm not in the best mood. It was wonderful meeting you, but I have to go. Thank you. She's not desperate. She's not interested. She's not looking. She doesn't care. And that saved her life because she's not weak. She's in a weak state, but she's not identifying with being weak. She knows that being in this state is not absolute. Whereas you were thinking, oh, this is it. I might as well. I mean, we are compatible right now. You see what happens when you say F it, right? Anyway, she goes and recharges, and bada bing, bada boom. She goes and plugs in, recharge, grounding, and she fills herself back up with that good stuff. So not only is she not going to be attracting losers like that anymore, or for the time being, now she'll be able to recognize, because she's charged her mind's eye, now she'll be able to recognize when someone who is truly compatible comes along, if she's even looking for that, because again, it could be someone, something, a job, a person, place, or thing. So yeah, I think that your frequency in your mating call is your mating call, and you only attract narcissists because you're weak. Only victims attract narcissists. Yep. Only victims attract nice. And I know that some people may disagree, but I don't really care because the proof is in the pudding. Um, this again, I was gonna use. Actually, I'm gonna use an example. So why not? I got a few more minutes. So when the cheating happens, if you are wondering if you are identifying with this and you do want to change, we'll do that too. So when the cheating happens, let's assume the girl he met didn't go the opposite direction. She didn't go recharge. She didn't go plug in. Let's just assume yeah, she fell like everyone else does. Let's assume she did give in to him. Let's assume she said, "Oh my God, wow, like compatibility, we're compatible. I don't know anything about this man. I know I just saw him at the corner store, the grocery store, but I like what I see. I like what I feel. It feels familiar. So I'm gonna pursue it. Don't know shit about him. Don't know that he just dumped in you. Don't know that he has been in dumping in himself and dumping in other people for a very long time because her frequency's low. Her mind's eye is not as active as it usually is, and she's not grounded. So she decides to be with him because they resonated. They're aligned. Now he's dumped it in her. He's dumped his 20%. But you got to remember that this reserve that I'm showing y'all, this percent, these people have a substantial amount of hate and jealousy and envy within themselves. So it'll never really just be depleted. That's how they have to keep dumping in people and exchanging energy. But yep, she lets him trickle in her. About 10%. 10%, and this goes down to 20. It's not funny, but and this goes up to 40 for it. And this goes down to 10. So this is 10. And this is now 40 for him. So she just charged him up. She goes home even more depleted than when she started. Not only is she feeling hungover now, but now she feels sick because she just got an energetic disease. She just got a vibrational disease in her body. Don't even know where it came from. He stole some of her energy, and now he's using it to go back and flaunt in your face. And this is what cheating is. This is how the cheating happens. This is how you get cheated on by narcs. And honestly, they're not cheating on you. They're just because they didn't even have to have sex. They could have done anything. They don't care as long as they can get something, right? That's why they'll and with anything. That's why they'll hang around ugly people, or not necessarily ugly, but physically. Like you're like, why do they look a certain way, or that person's trash, or because they don't like. They probably go hang with like a free slut, right? Knowing that I don't want to catch nothing, but I know that it'll piss her off. It'll make her pissed off. Or I know that I can go dump my energy in her and probably get some good energy from her because she is ditzy and full of innocence and somewhat, full of naivety. Let me say it like that. And it may not necessarily be sex, but it could be still whatever. But this is how this person eventually gets cheated on, right? But and I know everyone's always telling you what you are and what you what you did, and oh, you're a victim. I know you're a victim. I mean, I know that you don't necessarily want to hear that all the time, but you gotta understand frequencies are extremely addictive. They are they're the most familiar things, right? They're the things that comfort us. They're the things that bring us, relatability, familiarity, the things that we can relate to or turn to when we are looking for validation or alignment. So when it comes to how to avoid running into a narcissist, whenever your vibe drops for whatever reason, whenever you're at that like low battery, whenever you're at low battery, yes, you can go to the grocery store. Yes, you can go to the gas station. Yes, yes, yes. But you have to understand you are going to meet and attract a whole new plethora of people. This is not for you to be like, you know, um, excited by, right? I've seen, like, I had this girl, and she was like, oh my God, like, I went to the store today and I attracted all of these people, but I looked a hot mess and I don't get it, but I guess I got it like that. And da 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 da. And I'm like, I didn't sell this to her at the time, but I was thinking, like, yeah, you just started attracting a lot of, like, probably broke men or men who finally was happy that you didn't come out up to par. Probably knew who you were already and have seen you before and was like, oh my God, like, you know, here's my opportunity. Or, you know, they you they recognized you because you weren't, the typical dressed up, looking really good. You look like a bum, so they felt that y'all were compatible to some extent, right? And like I said, I didn't tell her that, but I was like, I mean, real recognize real, bums recognize bums, right? I don't know, because the way I did it was like I was like, what type of men, like what type of guys are you attracting? Just like they weren't all that, but you know what I mean? Like it just yeah. So, anyways, go out, do what you got to do. Don't go out for too long. You don't want to be um, you don't want to be outside too long, not charged up, not prepared, not charged to where your mind's eye, your intuition, your discernment is up to par. Otherwise, you will run into a narcissist. You will be converted, turned and slutted out, turned out to be a victim. Okay. So, how do you not go ruin your life? Go outside and immediately go back inside. Okay. When you get back inside, I know these arrows are like pointing at really nothing right now, but you listen to my voice. Um, Whenever you get home, back home, after you do the little errands that you have for that day, you do not need to run a bunch of errands low vibrationally. Otherwise, you need to have a system in place for you to be able to charge up at a more efficient speed. So if you just in case you do have a lot to do, or otherwise you're just going to make a lot of bad decisions, and you're going to be attracting a lot of unnecessary BS. Right. And even if you don't make a bad decision, you're going to just attract a lot of BS. So go home, recharge, plug in. I'll say plug in or lock in or go within. Go within. Within you, within that empty space, within that field or that, tap into your energetic field and figure out what is going on. How low is it? Why is it that low? And how can I raise it back up? What do I need right now? Align or, I'm sorry, ground. Ground, yeah. And so I know people are like, oh my God, do these things. These are the things that you're supposed to do, and they never tell you how to do them. Like, and honestly, you can't teach everybody everything, but I'm just gonna give y'all a few right now. So, how you go within. You go within by meditating. You go within by sitting and talking with God. You go within by getting on the same or getting a good understanding of what's happening within yourself. Right? I wish I could have seen that. So, meditate meditate, right? So you can meditate. This is what that looks like, meditation. Recharge. You can recharge. It depends. Like, what do you like? What brings your vibe back up? Is it self care? Is it reading? Is it having a good meal? Having a dance party? Hanging with family? More family? Maybe friends and family. Um, Recharge, right? And then grounding. Grounding can look like, I mean, basically just what I think. Okay, what I think grounding is after you've gone into the ethers, after you've meditated, after you've gone within to go outside, right? Then you got to come back. You got to come back and be like, okay. So I went there and I found out I'm low vibrational right now because my grandfather just died. I'm attracting low vibrational people because my vibe is low because a family member just passed away. My vibe is low because a family member just passed away because I was emotionally connected to them and the idea of them and their flesh, and I don't understand that they are in a transitional period and that it's not the end all be all. So I'm confused. I'm confused and I'm scared because I fear death. I'm not aware that of what death is, and blase, and so forth and so on, right? So you have to basically backtrack. That's what grounding is, kind of just coming back to reality so you can understand, okay, this is where I'm at, this is what's going on, and this is how I'm going to then recharge. And once you have done all this, typically, that's when you'll feel better. After you meditate, you feel better. After you do some self care, you feel better. After you do some reading, you feel better. After you dance a little, you feel better. And then after you ground, you're back in business, baby. You're back in business. Now you're attracting people who are at the vibe that you were at in that moment. You have to understand your whole life can be ruined by simply going to the gas station and running into a bum because you resonated with them at that time when you typically don't operate from that vibration, but you decided to. You settled. I had a friend tell me, is this on? Is this thing on? Is this thing still on? I had a friend tell me recently that I just looked at the sun. Oh my god, I can't see anything. Um, yeah, I just had a friend tell me that I am I am a hard pill to swallow. First of all, well, okay. Second of all, okay, don't take me. Don't try to digest me. Don't try to do anything when it comes to me. And they said that, they said that, right? But they also coupled it with, I appreciate having somebody like you in my life because no one's gonna not only tell you how it is, but also help you understand how it is, right? And it's not to say that I know it all. It's not to say that I, just have all the information in the world, but I have been through a lot. I've been through a lot and I have a lot of experiences. And I understand that, you know, nothing is really absolute. Nothing's absolute. And that you don't have to stay in one spot, one point in time, or one predicament or circumstance because you have options. The only reason we decide to settle for the low vibe and resonate with a narc is because you don't know how to do these things. You don't know that you need to do these things. And yeah, you may know because you saw a video once or your parents mentioned it once or, you read a book. But this is why it's called the game of life. There needs to be practice, right? You don't just hop in a game and know what you're doing. Even if you were told once, you're going to be kind of lost. You're going to be like, oh my God, I don't remember. That's what you were doing discombobulated at the gas station. That's how the narc recognizes you, right? They recognized you because you were weak. You weren't grounded. You were wavy amongst other people who could still have a weak or low vibration. They just weren't tippable. They knew, well, at least I need to stay centered and figure it out, even if I do got to go get gas, even if I do have a meeting, even if I do have to do this or that, right? Deal with kids, go continue to make money, blah, blah, blah. They didn't let their circumstances make them a mark for a narc, right? Or anyone else or anything else that could basically externalize their power, because that's all it is externalizing their power. And in your case, or in a narc or a victim's case of a narc, it is both externalizing and stripping or stealing in a way, right? So yeah, what if it was that simple? It is that simple. It is, you just have to seek. And the only reason anyone watching this video right now would even not only come across me, but be able to understand what I'm talking about and take it from a space of, I keep looking because I don't know, did it die? Well, if it died, I might just have to do a voiceover. But yeah, so the only reason I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the only reason people say those things. I forgot what I was saying. Dang it. Well, yeah, no, I forgot what I was saying, but what I'm getting now is like the only reason those people say those things is because they need their ego stroked and they need to feel as though that they're um, comfortable with what they have going on. I don't know if that the heck. I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, so just understand, like I said, if you're saying this, you are somewhat, seeking kind of an understanding or, you know, a you haven't given up on yourself, you haven't settled, right? And even if you have, it's not absolute, it's not the end of the world. It's not like you have to just stay there. You don't have to stay with that narcissist just because you chose them. You don't have to stay in that situation just because you chose. You can always change your mind. You have free will. You have the option to be like, okay, well, I'm not doing this anymore, or I think I'm done doing this. Like that, those energetic hits, those ego, artificial ego boosters that you were receiving, they're not hitting the same. That's when you need to leave. Really before that, but that is a clear indication like you're outgrowing it. Y'all wait too long. Y'all wait till y'all get hit again, and you're resonating. You're too weak to leave. Stop being too weak to leave. Go seek community. Go seek people who are willing to help you get out of these situations mentally, because you can leave physically all you want, but that's why you keep going back. Okay. And I know that a lot of people are dealing with, like in my case, having like the self-esteem issues or questions or being on the fence. I'm attractive, I'm confident, I'm not, going back and forth, having body dysmorphia, having, all these different things. You have to understand this is how you look. You're a mark. Amongst people who are standing tall and strong, regardless of where their vibration is, when they see you in a sea of people, you think that they're seeing you initially because of the law bombing, and they have to make it look good so they can get in. I forgot to mention that typically is why, but a lot of y'all be missing the signs. Y'all be delusional. But yeah, because like in some cases you really are love bombed, and in some cases they don't even care. They just come in and ruin your entire life. I've heard some stories, but yeah, you have to be firm, even while you're learning, even in the process, even in the process of grieving, even in the process of trying to understand. Even if you're not sure, you have to be firm so that you aren't disturbed. Your process isn't disturbed. You are your most important process. You, in controlling this, when it goes up and when it goes down, and recognizing and having self-awareness and that's what self-mastery is. Self-mastery is knowing when, where, what, how, why, and making the decision, making the choice, coming to a clear, concise understanding of, what you're doing, what you got going on, and how you're going to go about it. If you're going to still go in this direction or not. You also have a choice to accept this type of information as exactly what, for exactly what. Okay. Accept this information for what it is, or you can look at it through a lens of, someone's attacking you, someone's talking bad about you. But regardless, remember that for me at least, I typically don't judge people because, again, I'm not a judge. I'm not getting paid to judge anybody. I really don't care. It's just an observation. I have eyes, I have the ability to observe, and that's what I'm going to do. So, you thinking you're being judged by me is a you thing. It's not a me thing. This is a general. Happens to me, your neighbor, anyone, if we so choose, if we allow it. So, I am just, again, speaking to little me, speaking to current me, speaking to future me, speaking to my family, my nephew, and love the rest of y'all, but I'm talking to people who are open to receiving information like this. Otherwise, I don't care. If I offended you, yeah. Anyways, otherwise, take it or leave it. If it don't apply, let it fly. If you feel like you resonated to some extent, and you're like, okay, she was making some sense, but I still don't understand how to do any of those things, hit me up. I don't mind. I can answer a few questions. And if you don't want to talk to me, I do not suggest going to anybody that you're around now, because the vibratory level that you're on, they more than likely will help you stay where you're at. So you need to go read a book. You need to go to the library, go use the internet, look up some self-help stuff. But really, I think it's a good idea to go connect with other humans. I say this all the time. Everyone always talks about how God speaks through us. God talks to us, and no one talks to each other. Even me, I'm a hypocrite when it comes to it, because I don't leave my house. And how am I going to say I want to talk to God if I don't go talk to other people? I can talk to one aspect of God all I want, which is myself. But this is why I'm doing this, and even in real life, getting out there, because I can't say that God speaks through people, and this is how God communicates with us, also via the universe, and we don't talk to each other. So don't be scared, don't be ashamed. It's nothing, I called you weak. Yeah, I called you a victim, but it's not to be mean. It's for you to identify the state that you're in so that you can then bounce back. You're only weak because you were strong. You only fell because you rose. So it's okay. That's why they say if you fall, just get back up. The part where you staying down with an arc, staying down for that job they don't like you, staying in those situations that are not benefiting you, that's you. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. I did a long video today.